Hey, I'm Solomon. I want to go over our 5D process that we follow here at OneIMS. All right, it's really, really important that you kind of understand the process, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to launch a marketing campaign, you want to make sure you go through a rigorous process. Why do we have this process? Because we've seen the same kind of challenges over and over, and at the end of the day, we have to deliver results. So we reverse engineer all the steps that need to go to make sure at the end of the day, you're going to have amazing results. So the first thing that we do when somebody reaches out and say, hey, look, we're looking to get more our marketing efforts ramped up. We're not really happy with the results, right? We think we could do a better job, whether it's done in-house or an external partner, a consultant, whatever it might be. There's a challenge that they're trying to solve and it's just not being solved. So our first and foremost thing we try to do is, hey, let's find out what that challenge is. Let's find out dig a little deeper into the business. What are your products? What are your services? How much do you charge for those services? And are you a fifth in the line, right? Do you have 4 other competitors that are better than you and sort of killing you? And is that, marketing is really an obvious solution to that. So is that the challenge, or are you a new company, right? And you don't really have a market, or you're trying to create a new product offering that you've never done before? Perhaps you just revamped the entire marketing department and you really want to ramp up and not waste time, because if you waste time, a quarter goes by and 2 quarters go by and you're not going to have a great year. So obviously people are really concerned about how to make their numbers. So these are my challenges. We come, we identify those issues and we come together and we can formulate a plan or decide that, hey, we don't really solve this challenge. That's just not us, and guide the person down a path of what they might want to be doing. So our first and foremost thing is discover the challenge, whether it's a short-term challenge, a long-term challenge, or a challenge that you don't really even know how to solve it, right? You don't know if it's a short-term or a long-term challenge. And then once we identify it, right, we say, hey, we got a pretty realistic problem here. This could cost hundreds and thousands, maybe millions of dollars of sales if we don't deal with it. Or a lot of industries are actually getting disrupted and say, hey, this is a big disruptive problem, so we want to make sure that we get ahead of it, right? So then that leads us to our next solution problem is defining the goals. If we don't know the challenge, we don't know the goal, what are we trying to solve? So we go into really going in depth and saying, hey, how would we know we reached the solution? What are the goals that we're trying to solve for? Is it the number of leads? Is it the number of sales? Are we really tracking the opportunities in the pipeline? Right? Would we be saying, if we generate $10 million of sales and that's the solution that we're looking for, not anything else? It could be anything. Is it revamping the website, building a marketing automation system, making your CRM, right, do a better job of marketing the prospects? All of that could be goals. It doesn't matter what it is, but we need to make sure that we actually have made realistic goals that are time-bound so we can get to work, right? So after we define the goal, we move on to the next step. Step number 3 of 5, which is developing a strategy. We can't really develop a strategy unless we know what the goal is. And we can't really even define the goal unless we know there is a real problem that we're trying to solve. So the strategy involves a lot of the services that you might have heard of, whether it's revamping the website, like I said, it's an SEO strategy, content creation, thought leadership, maybe it's email marketing, nurturing the leads better, making sure that you're marketing to your current customers. Maybe you're having a churn issue, right? You're not really getting any loyalty from the customers. How do we build loyalty? Everybody has that concern. Whatever that might be, the challenge, we're going to develop a multi-faceted strategy, whether it's pay-per-click, SEO, things that work together, and also understand that your marketing is going to get more efficient over time. We need to work together on an inbound strategy. Perhaps there's outbound elements to it. Maybe there's email marketing, there's display ads, Facebook ads, whatever it might be. Okay, so I'm just going to say Facebook ads. Maybe there's a Google element, right? And maybe there's SEO component, correct? Maybe you do want to have a lead generation arm that all it does is generate leads for you. It doesn't matter. Again, the strategy is going to depend on all the things that we talked about throughout the course of that communication. And once we have that, right, we go ahead and start deploying the campaign. This is where, hey, we came up with the hypothesis. If you do X, Y, Z, we should be able to see the results. So we will go ahead and launch the campaigns, right? Whether it's in Google, let's say we're going to do $1,000 a day. Campaign is running $1,000 a day. And there's another campaign that's running at $500 a day. Whatever it might be, we're going to start creating content at scale, right? Create content. So this means, right, that all of these engines are going to start working for you, correct? These were the things that were not happening before, were not really being tended to. So now we got to go ahead and run the campaigns, improve the model so we can have a machine at the end of the day that's running 24/7, generating leads for you. It could be Facebook lead ad, Facebook carousel ad, video ads, YouTube strategy, creating content that's video, audio, right? Text, blogging, whatever it might be. All of those things got to go into a place at the end of the day. We're integrated marketing companies. We don't just say do X and you will get the solution you're looking for. It has to be a multi-faceted strategy. And eventually, right, once we really have figured out the kinks, once we've really figured out the messaging, once we really figure out this sort of audience resonate really well with this offer, and this landing page works really well, this ad copy, and we see results, correct? This is when you actually put out and say, hey, I needed that $10 million. You start to see progress from setting up a goal. Having just an idea of, hey, I got problems, that doesn't mean you're going to get there. This is a long and winding process because we don't want to get to results and say, well, that's not the kind of results I was looking for. Those are not the kind of leads I was looking for. It's because most of the time we don't spend the time making the goals. We don't spend the time even defining the challenge. We don't educate, right, everybody in the team as to why we're doing such things. All of these things kind of create an unpleasant results at the end of the day. And that's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that you're satisfied, right? You're giving it a thumbs up every single day. You're getting email notifications and lead notifications. Obviously, you got to close the deal. But the fact of the matter is, you don't have any deals you're going to close if you don't have qualified leads ready to talk to the sales rep, whatever, the product or service that you sell at the end of the day. So this is the process that we go through, and everything that we do behind the scenes that most people don't see are in one of these buckets, right? It's defining the goals, it's making sure the strategy's on par, and sometimes we got to redo the strategy on a quarterly basis. Q1 might be a little different than Q2, and Q3 might be a little different because you know what? The behavior in the industry might be different. People don't talk about your product or service in Q3 for whatever reason, or maybe there is a trade show that you go to on Q4, so things have to be different and optimized all the time. So there's constant reviewing of the strategy and to the result. So that happens on a regular basis, right? Constantly. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be annually, and reviewing the numbers definitely makes everybody happy because they know that what's worked, what didn't work, and how do we make it better. So this is sort of the behind the scenes of what happens. We're really excited to go over in depth with you for your campaign. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.